It's time to talk sports. It's Hacksaw's Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions. Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports on a Thursday? We do, you do. From the Dixie Line Lumber and Home Center studios in San Diego, heading towards a great sports weekend, we welcome you to our Thursday March Madness broadcast. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host John Riley, and we welcome you. This podcast brought to you by Dixie Line Lumber and Home Centers. Lots of locations to serve you. You got projects, they've got materials. You want ideas, they can help you. Go to dixieline.com to see all the things that they have to talk about. John Riley, first full day, March Madness, first full weekend, college basketball. Is a 16 going to take out a 1? Is a 15 going to nail a 2? And wow, have we got a great weekend of college basketball in the San Diego Regional at Viejas Arena. It's going to be a fun segment today, talking hoops.
Talking hoops. I mean, we were even talking about hoops movies here. A lot going on in the world of sports. But yeah, this Siena-Duke game is pretty wild.
Yeah, we're going to go a lot of different directions on this podcast, and we do sports talk the way it should be done. Put a lot of topics on the table. We express opinions on those topics on the table, and then we let you join us. There's a third chair here with Fans Forum. For everybody who's on the live stream that's never participated, urge them, tell them, direct them as to how they can join us on Fans Forum. And the people then watch us after the fact on the YouTube channel, just describe to them how they can still get us a message, even though they're not with us on the live stream.
I urge you, I tell you, I'm directing you to get involved in Hacksaw's, Fans Forum segment, so just type in your comment or question in the live chat on X, on YouTube, on Facebook, and we'll get you involved in Fans Forum.
And what about the people that watch us after the fact? They can still find a way to message us, correct?
Yeah. They got a comment on the videos in YouTube, in Instagram, or wherever you have your video content, and we go scanning there looking for hot takes for Fans Forum.
Fans Forum coming up right at the end of this Thursday podcast, going towards the great sports weekend, the first weekend of March Madness. Just a couple of other footnotes. I write about sports every day of the week. It's on my website, leehacksawhamilton.com. Best 15 minutes in sports, my one man's opinion column. If you like sports talk radio the way I did it, I think you'll like the way I write on my website. In addition, want you to join Hacksaw's Insiders Group. On the homepage of my website, there's an orange box. Fill it out, get on the email list. That guarantees you will get 2 newsletters every day from John and I into your inbox, all sports related. Think you'll like that. Give us a thumbs up, hit the follow button, give us a 5-star rating. It really helps with the growth of this podcast. I'm ready. I got a lot of notes here, pal.
You do have a lot of notes.
Where do you want to start?
Well, we got to start off here with March Madness. We got a lot of big games today.
Yeah, let's just talk about March Madness. Duke is number 1. Now, John and I were laughing and talking about how many times this has happened where a 1 has lost to a 16 in the first day. We think it's only happened twice. When Farley Dickinson uprooted Purdue a couple of years ago, and prior to that, when the University of Virginia was number 1 and they lost to who? Maryland, Baltimore County. Those are the only 2. For the first half in today's Thursday opener, Duke was down by 14 to Siena. Who? Siena. Unbelievable. Now, in the second half, they've wiped out that deficit. Duke has come back to take the lead. They scared the living daylights out of them. But end of the day, it's the way you play the day you play. At the end of the day, Duke has just got great players, obviously, led by Cam Boozer and Isaiah Evans. And I got to believe Duke is going to be there on the Final Four weekend. University of Michigan, Yax Landenberg, Adai Mara, the big men, the transfers. Boy, are they really good, along with Morenz Johnson. That's a really deep, really talented Michigan team. Hell, this might be a better team than Michigan's Fab 5 team. That's possible. Arizona, firepower everywhere. Braden Barriers, Koa Pete, Jaden Bradley, 7 deep, almost all of them in doubles figures. What a program the University of Arizona has there to be reckoned with. Florida is the defending champion, and for some reason, during most of the year, have not gotten a lot of national recognition, but they bring back Alex Condon, and they bring back Thomas Haw, and they bring back Boogie Flem. That's a really good Gators team that runs the ball a lot. Houston Cougars, third-year starting guard Emmanuel Sharp is back, and he runs everything. You can just see his experience. And Kingston Fleming, what a great player he is. Houston's pretty dangerous. Is Houston deep enough, big enough, tough enough? Remains to be seen. And then there's UConn, which is there almost every year now. UConn with Dan Hurley, UConn with Caravan, UConn with Reed, UConn with Ball. They're really good. So I don't see much of a difference between 1 and 6 in the AP poll. I think any one of these guys could get there if there's no upsets and Siena scare the hell out of Duke to start that game. Last, and of course, the play-in games. Miami of Ohio. Everybody's talking about them. Nobody's shaking their head anymore. I mean, they gunned down SMU. Miami Redhawks hit 16 threes in the play-in game in Dayton, and it was just electric. And obviously the fans turn out with all their costumes. Or in the case of the Miami Redhawk fans, their swimming team with nothing except their Speedos showed up. It was really funny to see Miami's swimming team come down to take their seats, and all they was wearing were their swim trunks. But boy, it is so electric to see the fans' response to what March Madness has become. So, John, is there much of a difference between 1 and 6 in the AP poll? Can any one of these win it?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think the 6s can be competitive here, but the 1s are just so freaking loaded. And even the 2s are good, but it just seems like, you hear a lot of talking heads saying that this is the disparity of the haves and have-nots is growing, not just Power 4 to everybody else, but there are certain programs in the Power 4 that are just completely in a different league as far as payroll goes.
I concur. And I'll say something here that I don't mean to throw cold water on what we're about to experience with this year's edition of March Madness. I don't think we're ever going to see it again, what we've seen in the past. The great programs have all the money. The great programs can buy any player and recruit any player they want, and they have. The great programs have great rosters. So these games, especially involving these 6, those are going to be great games because there's great talent level. John, I don't think we're ever going to see a 16 beat a 1 again. I don't think we're ever going to see George Mason, Butler, San Diego State, Farley Dickinson get to a Final Four. I just don't think it's possible any longer, which to me is a tinge of sadness because that was one of the unique things that made March Madness so really special. Game has really, really changed.
Well, I mean, we're going to see if the NCAA is going to change the rules on, NIL and everything else. And so maybe there could be balance down the road. But to me, that's what makes this tournament so exciting is when someone like a Farley Dickinson wins and you're like, where in the hell is Farley Dickinson? And
it's in New Jersey.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's really close to New York City. And, you learn about all these other schools. I remember as a kid, I mean, I watched this tournament. That's how I learned geography, learn about where all the colleges were. So, this year I'm picking all the 1s to advance. I know that sounds kind of like, kind of obvious, right? I mean, and so I have Arizona beating Duke in the final. Have you really thought it all the way down to your Final Four?
No, but I think any of those guys could win and probably have the talent level to win on the March Madness Monday night when we play the final game. Okay, you got an opinion on the Final Four? Is there a tinge of sadness because that era that we knew, grew up watching, enjoyed, that era I think has kind of gone away, replaced by big money, big talented rosters, big time teams? Join us. Fans Forum, you got an opinion on March Madness. Does it feel different? Does it look different? Is it better for college basketball? We go from people playing to the guys not playing, and that includes here at San Diego State.
Yeah, San Diego State. I heard your voice in the background at the presser.
I was front and center asking all the questions. I enjoyed dealing with Brian Dutcher. He had a lot of really strong things to say. These are the highlights from his season-ending press conference, and he was really quotable. Was he disappointed? Yes. Did he have strong opinions about what happened to his team? Yes. Does he know there's a challenge ahead for him from this day going forward? in this offseason? Yes. These are the quotes from Brian Dutcher, who answered every hardball question I threw at him. Everyone is in the portal. Now, what does that mean? He looked at me and he said, Lee, everyone is in the portal. Okay. But the portal isn't open until April 7th. He said, everybody is getting tampered with.
Yeah.
Every one of my players is getting calls now from people. So, in essence, that's where his quote, everyone is in the portal. It's going to be up to him to convince the marquee players he wants to retain to stay there. End of the season, no marquee wins. That killed him. You know, they wound up at one point, they were 4-11 against the best teams on their schedule. That's why they did not get in. He said if we had beaten Troy early, because Troy won its conference and then won its conference tournament, if we had beaten Troy, we would have gotten in. Troy today got destroyed by Nebraska. It was embarrassing. Stage was a little bit too big, but not beating Troy was the reason. He said, brutally honest evaluations are coming. I get the sense there's some attitude situations that he did not have time to deal with during the course of the season. I think there will be players exiting because they're going to be told they don't fit here. I think there's an intangible piece to this 22-11 season. And he also said, I want guys who want to come back to be here. He said, I don't want to talk about money. If they want to be here, they know who we are, what we stand for, the culture, how we get guys into NBA camps. If they want to be here, those are the guys that I want. In terms of Magoon Gwath, I think he's yet to have his exit meeting. He wants the young man to stay. They want to grow his game and get his game complete. You know, Gwath has had 4 major injuries at San Diego State. So I think we've only seen a tip of the iceberg with him because he's just never been on the court for virtually an entire season injury-free. And this past season, he was just so waylaid by rehab and the setbacks he had. In terms of Miles Byrd, I guess Dutch is of the opinion he's gone. Now, he said he's made a lot of money. Byrd is a pro right now. He could be a pro on somebody else's college campus his final year. My heart would say, gee, I wish he'd stay one more year and complete the circle for him, come back with Gwath and all the young guys have got. But at this point, I don't know that is possible. And then he talked about the committee's view of the Mountain West Conference. And I kind of insinuated, if I read between the lines, or maybe it's my heart saying, committee doesn't respect the Mountain West. They had 7 20-win teams who took turns beating each other up. So therefore, they penalized the Mountain West because the conference was deep and the conference was good. All you need to know is what happened in the NIT in the first round. How many Mountain West teams kicked the ass of the guys that were playing in the NIT last night? And those were the runs, like San Diego State was right borderline there, getting there. So Dutch was really good. He was really open. He was really honest. He was really blunt, and I really appreciate it. And I asked a lot of questions that I just wanted answers to, or at least get the coach's reaction to. And he talked extensively about chemistry, and he talked extensively about you can't change things in midstream. This is the team you have, and this is the team you got to coach. You can't make radical changes. I get the sense there are going to be some significant roster changes in this offseason. So, John, those are the hot bullet points from Dutch's season-ending press conference. I put it in that form so the viewers and the fans will see it fairly easy and don't have to read through a 1,300-word essay.
Like a transcript of the podcast?
Yeah, in your newspaper. So those are the bullet points. What do you think?
You know, the one thing I love about Dutcher is just his attitude in the presser. He's just so transparent, you know, and not just to the media, but to the players. And it's basically, hey, we'd love to have you if you're the kind of guy that fits our team, you know, athletically, character-wise. If you're the right guy, we'd love to have you. But if this is not your place, then we will hug you and we will wish you the best. And if you want to do what Lamont Butler or Keyshawn Johnson did and go play another year of pro ball in college, or if you want to try to put your hat in the ring for the NBA draft, we will always love you. But, you know, we're going to start looking around at some more talent here. So he's never really like being defensive or overly protective of his guys. He's just, hey, we want what's ever best for you because that's what's best for us.
No coach speak.
None. So if you're a recruit, you love hearing that, because you want a guy that's going to want to lift your game up and maybe take you to a different level. So everything about this is just great. I mean, but Dutcher, you did that video piece about how we're lucky to have him, and we are lucky to have him. So, as far as the players go, yeah, who knows if there's bad attitudes? There probably are, but they're young men and they're growing up, and no one ever gets all the minutes they want, and everyone can see the numbers on who's coming and going. And so I would bet you we're going to probably, just guessing, 3 players, maybe 4 players enter the portal, something like that. I don't think it's going to be a mass exodus.
I hope not, but we'll see. And in terms of the upperclassmen who exit, yes, you can go and get a payday somewhere else, and it might work out. It kind of worked out for Butler. It definitely worked out for Nick Boyd, but there's lots of players going other places, and it hasn't worked out. And you're with a coaching staff that you trust, a coaching staff with great credibility, a program and a culture that's really special. Why would you want to go somewhere else and start from square one in a new set of circumstances unless you're going for a bag of money?
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with a bag of money. I mean, that's your value in the marketplace. So you can't shame them for going for the money, but it just depends on what they see is the best path forward. I mean, have you ever not taken a job that offered you the most and you took a job for a little bit less money? See, it's not always about the money, right? For some players will want it about the money. Other players are going to look for a place where they can grow their game, have a good full college experience. Different kids, they think different.
I was in San Diego. I turned jobs and down jobs in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and St. Louis at monstrously big stations with national reputations. I turned them down to stay here. Family, loyalty.
Lee Hacksaw falling on the sword for San Diego sports fans.
No,
we love you, Lee, and we're happy that you stayed here.
But you just asked the question, have you ever? So I'm telling you yes.
But that's the thing. I mean, some guys are going to go for the money, and some guys are going to go for something different.
Yep. So that's where we are. You're an Aztec fan, friend, and alum. I know you're watching. I want you to respond to what we've seen. How disappointed are you in the season? I tend to think this is a one-off. If he loses players, he'll go get players because he always has, either from high school recruiting or even bounce backs in the transfer portal. It was a very interesting press conference. That's why I went there, and that's why I asked a load of questions that I felt had to be asked. And I just think at the end of the day, he's such a hell of a guy. He really is. Okay, Aztec fans forum chat box is open. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Program slipping, one off. Want to hear what you've got to say. We go from that. Let's go to pro basketball because, boy, there are all kinds of stories out there.
Yeah, these Lakers, man, they were red hot.
This is absolutely amazing. These are the fact sheets here on the right-hand side in the orange square. Lakers are on a roll. They have now ripped off 7 wins in a row. They've won 10 of 11. The Lakers have now posted 5 wins in the last 2 weeks against teams that have 40 or more wins this season. The Lakers have now pushed themselves into the 3rd spot in the Western Conference. And who would have thought a month ago, when they were out there giving up tons of points to the likes of Sacramento and Atlanta and Washington, that the Lakers would be in this place? Luka is just on a tear. I mean, we're talking about vibrant offense. LeBron has accepted his role, at least at this point, coming off the injuries. Austin Reeves has found his shooting touch again. Hachimura is hitting threes more consistently. Jackson Hayes has become a rim protector. They met with DeAndre Ayton and said, this is what we're defining your role as. We want you to do it. So far, so good. We'll see if that continues. I think the unsung acquisition of Marcus Smart, he can shoot threes and he sticks his nose in it defensively. And at age 36, he's played pretty well. Jake LaRavia has hit a bunch of threes in key games. And Luke Kennard, who came at the trade deadline, is another three-point shooter. It's just a really, really different team. And look at the teams that they have beaten. These are all 40-plus win teams that the Lakers have pummeled in the last 2 weeks. So, John, to me, this is just absolutely amazing, the turnabout of this franchise. And as long as nobody gets dinged, if Luka doesn't get hurt, if LeBron doesn't go back down, they looks like there's a mindset that has changed on this team, and maybe it's got to do with J.J. Redick, but something's changed in the last group of weeks with Laker basketball. Agree or disagree?
Agree. I mean, that's how I was thinking of J.J. Redick. I mean, if you can go to different players that are making gigantic money, the all-time leading scorer, one of the top, I think Ayton was a #1 overall draft pick, and say, hey man, we're going to change your role on this team. I mean, that takes a lot of cojones to have that one-on-one with those guys. So it just tells you that Redick this is not his first year. Is it his second year?
Yes, second.
His second year. I mean, so this is cool. I mean, because you always wonder how effective are NBA coaches these days, except for the great ones like Popovich. I wonder if Redick is moving up the list.
Well, he's been able to convince them, and maybe it's also the players, as they've seen this thing come together, start to realize, if I do this, we have great success, and we might go deep in the playoffs. That's where we are with the Lakers. Their mindset is much different now. Now it matches the raw attributes of all the players they have. You're a Laker fan. You're surprised by what has transpired. They're third in the West with the arrow pointed up. Other teams have got injury problems. So it's going to be interesting the final couple weeks of the season, really interesting when the season starts. We go from that. Next topic on the table is the WNBA.
Yeah, the ladies, they got a contract.
They sat and they negotiated nonstop, 9 straight nights of negotiations, more than 52 hours of negotiations, and they got it done. I guess I can say this is win-win, although the owners facing a strike, facing the failure to start the season May 8th on time, the owners made changes to their last proposals, and the union walked away from the table with a bottle of champagne saying, we did very well for our clientele. We deserve this. They were arguing back and forth about revenue, and they wound up with getting 20% of net revenue after expenses. 20% is a significant amount of money. Last year their salary cap was, I want to say, $2.5 million. The cap will be $7 million this season.
Great.
Last year, max contracts were in the 200,000 range. Max contracts, they get 2 of them, $1 million for each if you wish to give them out to your players. They got the housing fee, and they're going to get $600,000 average salary, where last year the average salary was under $100,000 for the league. So the women came away with a great payday, and the owners, who were screaming, we're going to lose money, lose money, lose money, gave up some of their bank so we can have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all the rest of them start May 8th on time. They got it done in the face of the deadline. So
yeah.
Really cool, because that was pretty nasty.
Yeah, I mean, pay her what she's worth, right? Weren't they wearing those shirts?
Yes.
So this is good. I mean, and the money, they're getting paid more. That's awesome. I want to ask you a question, because you said the payroll, is going to be 20% of revenue, or 20% of revenue minus expenses. I'm wondering, are you talking about fixed costs? Because payroll is an expense. So I'm just, from an accounting perspective, I'm wondering, it's got to be percentage of revenue, right? Just
no, I don't think it was gross revenue. I think it's net revenue after expenses.
But then what are those expenses?
Well, that would include travel and medical care and things of that nature.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like the operating profit. They're getting 20% of that.
That's right.
Like right before it goes to EBITDA, right before it goes to all the taxes and depreciation and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, for them, that's great, because didn't they want 24? And then they were offered 16, was it?
15.
15. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a win. And the owners get to start the season on time, so everyone's making money.
Yeah, very much so. So great story for the WNBA. Jump on board if you have an opinion. Women's basketball, they've taken such great strides in terms of visibility, TV ratings, attendance, revenues. Just, it's absolutely amazing what has happened just in the last 2 calendar years. Okay, that's all things hoops. We go from that. We are baseball centric, and we are a week plus away from the start of the baseball season, John.
Yeah, we got decision day coming here for the Padres. Look at these pitchers. Big questions.
Yeah, big questions here. Tell you what, they've had a really interesting week. Walker Buehler has grinded his way through 5 shutout innings in his last start. He'll make 1 more start. The issue is he does not have the velocity he used to have, but he's shown more craftiness. I tend to think very trustworthy as a member of the back end of your rotation. Buehler has proved himself. They got to get him on the 25-man roster. They're going to have to make some roster moves shortly. I don't know what to make of German Marquez. He's had so many struggling outings. His last outing against Texas, 9 strikeouts in 5 innings, and his ball was moving, and he had them guessing. But there was against a Texas lineup that was a B squad. It was not against the top players. So that becomes a question. Can you trust what you just saw from Marquez, or is it better you ask him to start at El Paso and just continue to refine his craft? Jason Adam, dominant in the bullpen, just dominant in his one strong inning, 92 miles, 95 miles an hour. He was really impressive. In terms of the Padre bench, I think it's all locked in. I think what the Padres are doing and the acquisitions, I think this is a deeper bench than I've had in a long time, at least at the start of the season. Last group of years have made changes, but Castellanos has played a lot of innings at first base, so if they have to play him at first base, maybe he won't make the mistakes of being new to the position. And Andujar's all over the place, but he is hitting. Bryce Johnson has had another really good spring. And although the oblique situation has really created a problem for Sung Moon Song, I think he's going to wind up starting as a bench player rather than starting the season on the disabled list. They don't want him to have another setback with the oblique, but now he started to take forceful swings at home plate. They got a week and a half to go with him. So in terms of the Padres, John, I think they've answered most of their questions. I'm going to throw you a curveball, though, because I thought about this morning. This Joe Musgrove situation, something that popped into my mind, and he's headed to the disabled list because of the setback. He's not thrown a ball since March 6th. They make a mistake. He ramped up under their guidance. He did everything they wanted him to do, but he did most of it on backfields. And when he pitched against his own batters, or he pitched in a minor league game. The thing that kind of stung me, they let him go out in the Cactus League game in his first start and throw 60 pitches at max effort. Most guys who are coming off surgery, when they're actually in an exhibition game, will start out slowly, an inning, 2 innings, 3 innings. He went out and he threw 60 pitches. And that has led to discomfort and a setback now that they've had to shut him down. Did they make a mistake by letting him push it that much this early, when historically everybody from the Otanis of the world, they get 1 inning, then maybe they get 2 innings, and then maybe they get 3. He threw 60 pitches trying to get to the 4th or 5th inning of a game. They mishandle that?
I would suspect to say no. I mean, because I know Musgrove is a smart guy, and you could tell that in his interviews, he was always trying to manage his own, let's say, emotional desire to get back in there with doing what the right thing is to do from a rehab perspective. So 60 pitches seems like a lot. I'm not that worried about it. But let me ask you this, Lee. If you had to make a decision right now, who is your top 5 in the rotation?
Well, Pivetta has to be number 1. With your fingers crossed, there's no more setbacks. But they say they're going to handle his between start workouts a little bit different. So that's good. Michael King has shown for 3 innings in his last 2 starts, dominance. Now, you may have to manage innings and workload with him. It may be more of a bullpen day when Michael King starts because you don't want him to have any setbacks. So maybe it's 3 innings, maybe it's 4, and that's it. You put him on a pitch count, at least his first couple of starts. So that's important. Vasquez has pushed himself to the front end of the rotation. He's trustworthy right now. His velocity is just amped up. So that's 3. Now, there is no Musgrove. Buehler, is he going to be your 4th? I don't think Marquez is ready to be the 5th. Who is the 5th? J.P. Sears? But when he's pitched, he's gotten banged around. Is the 5th one maybe Kyle Hart? Second year back from Korea. He's hardly given up any hits, any runs at all. Now, he's not lengthened out to be a 5-inning starter right now, but maybe they have to go to him. I don't think you want to go to a bullpen day or 2 bullpen days a week as part of your rotation. To me, they're a little short on arms because most of the other guys they've tried to bring in, the McKenzies of the world, they're going to wind up at AAA El Paso. Gonzalez, AAA El Paso, unless he's going to leave and retire or opt out. So they're a little bit thin in that area.
Yeah, they are thin, but we know Canning is coming back in May.
But there's no guarantee. Well, he's not pitched yet, and we have to see how his Achilles holds up in live fire max effort
he's
action.
Been pitching. The problem is he just can't field his position. Mm-hmm. So he's still in the bullpen. He's throwing. I heard he's throwing well. But if it's up to me right now, I think Marquez is going to be the number 5. I mean, he's got a guaranteed major league roster spot. He signed an MLB contract, not a minor league deal. So the Padres, and assuming he's not hurt, he's going to be the number 5. And I don't even know if they need the number 5 on the first or the second turn through the season, because usually in the beginning, the games are a little bit more spaced out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll see what Padre fans have to say. We do baseball because we cover baseball on this podcast. Jump on board, Fans Forum chat box. Somebody answered the question, did they mishandle Musgrove? Should he have been allowed to throw 60 max effort pitches in his first outing in live fire exhibition game? Because that's where the setback came from.
Well, here, I got another question. Where's Ty France on your list? I mean, is he not going to make the team?
I think I'd put him on the team, but you have to find a roster spot.
Yeah.
Because he's one of those non-roster guys. But he's hit his way onto this roster.
Oh, he's totally deserving.
As a super utility guy.
And then, technically on your bench, Campusano would be there, right?
He's a backup catcher, though.
But still, he's on the bench, So that's the question is, with 26 guys, can you fit them all in?
Oh, yeah. I do like this bench. If you add Ty France to that bench is good.
It is.
That bench is proven.
Yeah, it's better than Yuli Gurriel. And, all those guys.
Okay, Padre Fans Forum chat box is open. You got an opinion? What's your response about this Musgrove situation? Mistake made there, too much too soon? Big setback to me. Tell me what you think. We go from that. Let's go to the Dodgers.
The Dodgers, they've got big decisions too.
Yeah, they do. Shohei Ohtani, holy cow. First start, Cactus League yesterday. Now, again, he threw with Team Japan and bullpen. He had very exertive bullpen sessions, did very well. He goes out, throws 4 innings, gives up 1 hit, clocked at 99, and he is ready. So Dodgers come opening day next week. They got Yamamoto, who's in full gear prep. They got Glass now. So far, so good health-wise. You got Ohtani. Now, once you get beyond that, the Dodgers, I don't know what they're going to do with Sasaki. They keep saying he's in the rotation. He's got a 13.50 ERA in spring training.
Oh, that's all? That's not good?
No, he's got 2 pitches, can't control the third pitch, high pitch count, walking a lot of batters, giving up hits and runs. So this insistence that he's in the rotation, to me, is strange. He's got options. Send him to Oklahoma City and let him work on developing the third pitch. So that's where we are with him. They just sent out Ryan River, who had pitched really well. Now, he's coming back from elbow surgery. He's pitched really well. They've sent him to Oklahoma City. They're going to put him on a pitch count to start in the Pacific Coast League. Wroblewski is going to be the emergency left-handed starter in the rotation. They just optioned Kyle Hurt. They've yet to make a decision on Landon Knack. Hurt's recovering from surgery. They're going to handle him much like they're handling Ryan River down in Oklahoma City. And, at this point in time, the Dodgers are really deep in terms of gold standard at the top of their rotation, but they got a bunch of guys nicked up. No decision yet on Landon Knack. He's not had a good spring. Gavin Stone is going back to AAA. He had a shoulder setback in camp, and Bobby Miller is in shutdown mode because of injuries to his shoulder. So I know Dodger fan will say, why are you bringing all this up? Well, I'm bringing it up because it's the story of the day. There's no doubt they have a gold standard big 3 in their rotation and very deep in the bullpen, but they got some nicks, if you will, at the back end of their rotation. And John Riley says,
well, isn't Emmett Sheehan in the rotation?
he's in the mix too. Yes.
Yeah. So I just look at this, and weren't we talking about the Dodgers earlier that they might have a 6-man rotation to start the season?
Mm-hmm.
And now, you're asking questions about the back end of the 5-man.
Yeah, a little thin at the back end of the 5-man.
Yeah.
But Sheehan, I should put Sheehan in there too. They're so deep, it's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. The Dodgers are loaded, and Ohtani's ready to go, man. Play ball.
So that's Dodger baseball. Got an opinion. We'll talk about that next week. Next week, we're going to do our baseball preview. We'll do a quick hit division by division, talk about the teams and who's hot, who's not, etc. So if you're a baseball fan, be with us next week on the podcast. We go from that. Let's talk all things Angels.
Angels have also got big decisions.
Boy, Angels got big problems still. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this pitching staff right now. They have 2, maybe 3 at the most. Alex Manoah can't get people out. They should ask him to go to AAA Salt Lake City and just let him work. His ERA is 9.75. Look at the bases on balls. I mean, that's just staggering. 14 walks in 15 innings. He's not pitching up here. He's not throwing anywhere near like he threw first year and a half with the Toronto Blue Jays. Drew Pomeranz, they gave him a window of opportunity. Now he's on a $4 million contract, but he can't get guys out in spring training. If he can't do it in spring training, you're going to call him in from the bullpen and expect him to be a setup guy or a closer. So they got a Pomeranz decision. The 2 guys who've kind of come out of nowhere and have really had good springs, Jack Kochanowicz, who had a really rugged season last year and was up and down and back and forth in the minors, got a 1.98 ERA. I plug him into my rotation, probably as a number 3 or maybe the number 4 guy. And number 1 draft pick, Ryan Johnson, who they force-fed last year and they got lit and they wound up sending him in minor leagues. His last 2 starts have been good. His last start, he had 5 innings, gave up just 1 run. So the Angels, to me, they got all types of pitching questions. They're going to keep Grayson Rodriguez in the rotation, but his ERA is in the 9s too, so that's a big issue. So Angels, I don't think they've solved the holes on their roster, John.
There's some good news and some bad news.
Yeah.
Now, I remember, didn't the Angels, 4 years ago, draft all pitchers in 1 year?
1 or 2 of them have gotten cups of coffee, but a bunch of them have broken down. The others just have not panned out yet.
But we got 2 young guys here on the list. So that's good. I mean, by the way, Drew Pomeranz, that guy, it seems like he's taking a bag of money everywhere he goes. He never plays.
He's a good guy. He had a promising career in Colorado that was beset by the fact he was pitching at Coors Canaveral.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt, and he's had nothing but injury problems, interspersed with some good seasons with the Padres, a good season here or there with the Cubs or the Red Sox, but no consistency whatsoever. Angel fans, feel free. Be part of the conversation. Jump on board now. We go from that. Last topic before we get to halftime on this Thursday podcast. Did you enjoy the WBC?
It was awesome. What a great tournament that was, Lee.
Yeah. File this one up here. Just absolutely amazing. All kinds of storylines coming out of the WBC. Venezuela, that bullpen was just amazing. They choked off Team USA's bats. Team USA did not hit through the whole tournament for the most part. The batting averages of Judge and Vlad Guerrero, Bregman, even Bryce Harper, despite the 1 heroic home run, just substandard. Team USA's big issue there, but Venezuela won it. Holy cow. And to me, it was stunning that the DR, with all those big bats, the Dominican Republic didn't get to the finals. Japan did not survive either. Japan was a little bit thin in the pitching ranks. TV ratings were just absolutely spectacular. 7 million for the semifinals. We think the ratings that are coming out sometime today are going to be 9 million for the championship game.
Hell yeah.
All-time record. I was really bothered at the end of game ceremony. Obviously, Fox TV showed the elongated celebration with Venezuela, rightfully so. And then they showed the medal celebration when they gave the Team USA players their medal. And the way they acted as Rob Manfred gave them their second place medal, and guys took 2 steps from the commissioner and took the medal off. Not a good look for Team USA. The fans, just electric. Holy cow, the fans in the stands were so superb. I've said this often, a celebration. It was like a Mardi Gras for all the fans. Didn't matter whether it was the Dominican Republic fans or Venezuelan fans or the Japanese Pacific Rim fans. And today, Rob Manfred, answering a question, what's next for the WBC? He said, we will now seriously consider midseason. And dude, that means to me All-Star Week.
Yeah.
Put it in All-Star Week. Make it special. Make it a 10-day tournament. Put it in All-Star Week. It is interesting, though. Mark DeRosa, in his exit interview, the manager at Team USA, said the U.S. team had huge challenges putting together the pitching staff, that they had to sales pitch pitchers to come out of spring training and be ready to pitch, even if it's on a pitch count in WBC. Then they had to convince the general managers of the teams, trust us, we'll use our guys safely. And then they had to deal with agents who put themselves in the middle of the conversation about not wanting my guy to be at risk. You know, part of this has to do with Mason Miller, but part of this has to do with Toronto lost one of its pitchers, Jose Barrios. He's got a stress fracture of his elbow. He's out of the rotation. He could miss half the season. So Mark DeRosa says, if we had this thing at the All-Star break at midseason, everybody, including pitchers, would be all in to pitch for the flag. You buy that?
No, not completely, because even going into an All-Star game, you know, the managers are still monkeying around. You know, they're you know, the Orioles coach is calling the All-Star coach and saying, don't pitch my guy because he was only on 3 days rest or whatever the thing is. But anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked by that. This was a great tournament, Lee. I mean, this was just exactly what this sport needs. I mean, it's really like the World Series. And Aaron Judge was saying how there's more electricity at these games than there is at a World Series.
Well, that's because it's the international fans who love their sport and their team.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's different than a Yankee Met World Series crowd, which would be a stadium full of fans. This is a different Mardi Gras environment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's great. I mean, so, you know, bring it on. I love the idea of moving into the summertime around the All-Star break. But yeah, what's your take on this? Like, you know, you see you know, you got your broadcast team, and then you've got the pregame, postgame. And the pregame, postgame is A-Rod and Jeter and Ortiz. They were like almost hyping up this team. This Team USA has got to be the best lineup in the history of baseball, but they're getting off to a slow start. You know, we're waiting for this lineup to explode.
We're still waiting.
Yeah. And you just thought, man, you're just kind of pumping the gas, you know, right there. Just lay off a bit. I mean, there's too much pressure on these guys. Well,
too much hype on these guys, but the tournament was great. But at the end of the day, if you look at Venezuela, if you look at the DR, how did they pitch around? They just brought guys in who threw heat. They were throwing one inning. That's all those relievers threw. They went through the whole roster of pitchers. Everybody got one inning and they're throwing heat, and Aaron Judge is trying to hit it to the next planet, and it didn't work.
No, it didn't. And one thing I will say that I enjoyed is that there could have been a lot of opportunity for like some political discussion in the USA against Venezuela. And there really wasn't any, you know, and the Venezuelan fans were happy and they were in America celebrating their guys. And I'm just happy that politics and sports kept separate.
Yeah, at least for that 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting because Fox showed TV cameras that were set up in, is it Maracaibo in Venezuela? And those people in the streets in the middle of the night going crazy.
Yeah.
Celebrating. And they had big screens set up. So how cool was that?
Yeah. It's just like your hockey guys up in Canada watching the games outside on the big screen.
Yeah, in the snow.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you got an opinion, WBC? You want to sign the memo now? We could all send it to Manfred. All-Star break, baby. That's where we want the next one. Let's talk all things World Baseball Classic. Letter grade A. It was really, really cool.
Awesome.
We get to halftime of our Thursday podcast, brought to you by Dixie Line Lumber and Home Centers. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, and there's a lot of guys out there that like to do projects in the garage, in the basement, build things for the house, make your own renovations, think about the tool area at Dixie Line Lumber. And here's Mr. Fix-It, John Riley, with some conversation about all the things they have to offer.
Yeah, I'm like Tim Allen on Home Improvement, back in the day. But yeah, Dixie Line's great, man. They're local folks. It's not some big corporate store, that you have to go to. There's a lot of the big corporate guys. This is San Diego, bread. This started by the Cowling family over 100 years ago here in San Diego, and they've grown to be really the biggest provider of lumber in San Diego County, and now they have a yard up in Dana Point. So the business is growing. There's a lot of building going on. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer, or if you're a professional and you're a builder or a contractor, Dixie Line can help you out with lumber, building materials, power tools, electrical, plumbing. They've got all the supplies, all the building material, outdoor living, decking, doors, windows. Unbelievable. So Dixie Line is your go-to as a homeowner, do-it-yourselfer, or a pro.
You're going to open up your pool in the backyard. It's 103 degrees in San Diego today. John needs to open her pool. We ought to do this pool side with the pretty girls.
Yeah, hacksaw with the pretty girls. Let's go.
How about John Riley with the women? Anyhow, Dixie Line Lumber, fix it, build it. We guarantee you will enjoy it. Thank you, Dixie Line Lumber. Just a couple of notes when we are done with this podcast, because we put topics on the table. Tell us what you think. We want to hear from you. It's called Fans Forum, John. Again, for all the people who are new, who have never participated, where's the chat box? How do they find it? And how do they ask questions, make statements, challenge us, critique what you're wearing today? How do they do that in Fans Forum?
See, I think back in your view of the chat box, it's like one of those little suggestion boxes that looks like a tissue box. That's how it probably was back in your day. That was the chat box. No, but here the chat box is right on your screen. It's the live commentary. You can make some comments, questions. Just drop them in the chat below the video on the live stream on Facebook, X, or YouTube. We'll get you involved in Fans Forum.
Just a reminder, I write about sports every day of the week. I invite you to check my website. It's really different. LeeHacksawHamilton.com, an absolute ton of stories. It's under the best 15 minutes page on my homepage. And there's also the One Man's Opinion column. I write a column every day of the week on my website. It's absolutely free. And also, when you go to my website, there's an orange box in the upper right-hand corner. Fill the information and join the Insiders Group, because that gets you on the email list. John and I send out 2 sports newsletters every day, Monday through Friday, so that'll be in your inbox too. So join us. Want you to tell everybody, share what we do Mondays and Thursdays, 1:30. Subscribe. When you subscribe on the YouTube channel, you will get the alerts every time we put new videos up. Do you know last week, in addition to the podcast, because he counted it, last week, between us, we put 28 additional video things up on our YouTube channel. I mean, there's a lot of unique and very different content. So share, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It helps us grow that. Find that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the follow button. And if you can, on Apple, give us a 5-star rating. Pound us on Apple, because that really helps us grow this thing too.
Pound us on Apple.
Okay, that's all things. Back to the topics.
You are a fire hose of sports content. I spend my whole week just editing videos for you, man. I mean, you got so many hot takes. It just keeps on going.
John has a bad reaction. It's like acid reflux, because he knows in the evening I'm going to send him the best 15 minutes in sports in my column. And he knows there's a volume of work he's got to do to get that posted also for you, the viewers, on the Insiders Group. John has acid reflux because he knows it's coming by 9 o'clock every night.
Dude, you're unbelievable. All right. Yeah, you are. I get like text messages at like 10:30 at night. Sent the stuff. You got it all now. I mean, you don't stop either.
It's my DNA. I am not going to apologize for being bleeping brilliant, people. I am who I am. Oh, we move on. We've covered hoops, March Madness. We have covered baseball, all things NFL, and here we go.
Yeah, here we go with some news here about Mad Max and some medicals.
Well, I'll tell you what, this conversation about the failed trade with Maxx Crosby, Raiders, Baltimore Ravens, just will not go away. Mad Max just went off on the Baltimore Ravens organization in midweek this week. At the end of the day, put a lid on it, okay? At the end of the day, you're in a good situation now because the Raiders have rebuilt their roster pretty quickly with free agency. They've spent a lot of money. So Maxx Crosby, just concentrate on getting healthy and quit whining about what happened in Baltimore. His surgeon Dr. Neil Alatrache, who does major surgeries for NFL players, kind of stepped forward yesterday and indicated the basis of what happened. He said that they went in and they found a significant meniscus tear in his left knee. They found a stress injury to the bone, which leads me to believe a stress reaction, potential fracture in the bone. They found cartilage deterioration, and there were signs of possible arthritis. That all comes with wear and tear, playing in the NFL, and then having meniscus damage. Now, 3 doctors the Baltimore Ravens took the MRIs to all expressed the same concerns to Eric DeCosta. Now, there was a delayed meeting. Crosby's all upset because he traveled cross-country and had to wait to meet with DeCosta and then meet with Jesse Minter. I was told from Baltimore beat writers that DeCosta and Minter did not want to meet with Crosby until they had the final definition from the consultants who viewed the MRIs. And that came back in negative light. At one point, those doctors said he could play this year, but who knows what's going to happen in years 2, 3, and 4 of this contract, because this thing might deteriorate. So DeCosta and Jesse Minter, the new coach, did not meet with Crosby for a group of hours. Crosby met with other executives. Crosby took a tour of the facilities. He met with players, etc. They finally called his agent and said, we're not going to accept this trade. There's too many issues in this MRI from our consultants and a doctor who is outside the circle, an independent doctor, that we're going to cancel the trade. And that's why he wound up going back to the Raiders. So at the end of the day, Maxx Crosby needs to get totally healthy because it was a significant surgery. Now we have an understanding there's some deterioration. Can they manage it? Can he play well and be what he has always been? Or will his productivity decline a little bit? But Maxx just needs to let it go, just get healthy, get on the field, because the team that he left was awful, and the team he's returned to since the trade was voided, pretty significant. But boy, the yapping just keeps going on and on and on. Response.
Yeah, he was upset about the plane flight, about the drive from D.C. to Baltimore. You know, it's frankly, none of this surprises me. I mean, having some knee issues, I mean, given what he does for a living. But, I mean, there is an alternative theory, though, in Baltimore, is that they lost more guys in free agency than maybe they expected. And suddenly they saying, we can't trade 2 number 1 picks for Crosby. Maybe did the Ravens get cold feet at the end of the day?
People that I talked to said no. They think this was all medically driven.
Interesting.
Because they had an offer to trade Hendrickson on the table when they made the Crosby trade. They wanted to sign them both or bring them both in.
Oh, wow. 2 pillars. Yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. But Hendrickson's a different guy than Crosby. If you asked me to pick one over the other, I'd take the Raider defensive end than I would Trey Hendrickson out of Cincinnati. But
well, should the Raiders be concerned with all these medicals?
Well, but he's under contract, so it is what it is.
Mm.
So I just wish this piece of the controversy go away. Just get ready for the season, because everybody should be talking about the revamp of the Raiders roster, and now you got Mad Max back as part of this revamp. Instead, everybody's talking about Crosby being unhappy. Jeez. Anyhow, so you're a Raider fan, Raider Nation, feel free. Jump on board. Your opinion about who do you believe? Mad Max being offended, or the Ravens listening to the doctors who say there's too much risk involved for a 4-year contract to be taking this guy on? Fans Forum chat box is open to go from that. Next NFL topic on the table, because this offseason's not done.
No, it's not done. We got some big moves here.
Yeah, the big story is Philadelphia. Part of it's got to do, obviously, with another acquisition. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, Kansas City Chiefs, caught 40 balls last year. He signs in Philadelphia. Signs a 1-year deal. We're waiting to see if Philadelphia is going to execute the A.J. Brown trade, because that's the rumor that's out there, that the Rams and the Patriots are both back in conversation with New England to get A.J. Brown, the very unhappy 1,000-yard receiver. Everybody that I network with is of the opinion he's going to be traded, that Philadelphia is just tired of it all. So we'll find out if A.J. Brown winds up going there. Marquise Brown becomes an insurance policy if they make that trade. 49ers, they had already signed Mike Evans, Tampa Bay. Might be a Hall of Fame wide receiver. He's still got time left on the clock. They signed him, and now they go out and they get a speed receiver in Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk's explosive, big yardage after catch guy in Jacksonville. Same thing with the Houston Texans last year. He signs in San Francisco. That's a good upgrade. And Cleveland just keeps adding. They've rebuilt their whole offensive line, and now they've gone and got another pass rusher. This kid played at Iowa, A.J. Epineza, played with Buffalo the last couple of years. I don't understand why Buffalo would let him go. They let him go. They let Joey Bosa go. I don't know what Buffalo's doing, but this guy is a speed guy who is more of an every down guy than he's just a special utility pass rusher. So he goes to the Cleveland Browns. So that's where we are. Offseason is not over. Virtually every marquee name is off the board. Now we'll wait to see if this A.J. Brown trade happens. A.J. Brown goes to the Rams. Holy cow.
Yeah, holy cow. I mean, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
What about the Chargers? I mean, are they done? Are they not dealing anymore? There's no names they're interested in?
No names really to speak of. I don't think they spent correctly. They spent because they had to re-sign people. But as we sit here in March, Charger fans, join me. Tell me whether you agree or disagree with me. We sit here in March, this is a lesser team than we had at the end of last season.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of Charger fans are freaking out right now. There's other Charger fans that are saying, relax, Lee, we got this under control. Don't worry about it. But I don't know. I mean, it's the Chargers. Things always go wrong.
All the free agents are gone. There's nobody to go get. I mean, there were 3 quality offensive linemen, interior offensive linemen, and they didn't get any of them. They didn't bid on any of them. How's that possible?
Well, they got one, didn't they?
Well, they got a second-line center from the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
He's better than what they had, but was not rated that high, and they did nothing at guard in terms of name people, and they lost Zion Johnson.
Are their tackles coming back?
Yeah, well, so far so good. Physically, they hope they hold up, and there's no setback from the ankle surgery or the knee surgeries for Slater and Alt.
And Pipkins is coming back, right?
Yeah, but he's a utility guy.
Well, he's not like he can't play a start. He can't start at guard.
He can start, but it doesn't mean he holds up.
Yeah, so it's like those 3 middle positions. Who are they going to be?
Well, the center from the Washington Commanders is going to be better than Bozeman, but they got nothing at guard, and the guys they brought in, they were found wanting other places, and are coming here.
And then do they have a quality, third tackle, that they could use?
Pipkins, but he's been found wanting every position they played. He's a big, wide body, but he doesn't make a difference.
Wasn't he a number 1 pick?
No.
So I remember there were 3 number 1 picks. Oh, it was Slater, Alt, and
Zion Johnson.
Okay, not Pipkins. Okay.
So that's where you're a Charger fan? Join me on this podcast. You tell me what you think. I just think it's a lesser team right now, and there's no way to make it better. They lost multiple defensive tackles who jumped in free agency. They lost Owe, the blitz linebacker, at all those sacks. He's gone. To me, it's just not the same football team. Agree? Disagree? Feel free. Fans Forum chat box is open for business. Last topics on the table, because we're going to have a lot of time for fans today. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, you got the high-speed sports wire, SDFC.
Yeah, tough loss, blowout loss. Boy, they got dominated, and they got knocked out of the Champions Cup. The way these tournaments are, you play 2 games, and it turns out to be aggregate score that's the decision maker.
Mm-hmm.
So SDFC beat Toluca, Mexico, 3-2 here. Went down there and got shut out 4-0 and got totally dominated, got blistered. They gave up goals in bunches, 43, 46, and 59th minute. The 19-year-old goaltender Duran Ferri just got bombarded. They had a 20-3 shot advantage, 61% time of possession advantage, and they were playing at SDFC was playing at 8,000-foot altitude. They just died on the field, and the kid goaltender for the first time really got overwhelmed. Wondering if he was the right guy to start down there, but he had beaten him up here. Tough break. So they're out of the Champions League, and now they got to turn around and they get back into MLS play on Sunday night. So they're 3-0-1 3 wins, no losses, 1 tie so far in MLS. So that's where you're going to focus your concentration on.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyhow, SDFC, tough loss. Interesting story involving FIFA. Iran has told FIFA, we want to play in the World Cup this summer. We do not want any of our matches in the United States. Okay, so you've got either matches in Canada or matches in Mexico.
Right.
Then Iran says, the U.S. president made the comment, we are welcome, but we can't guarantee your safety here. And Iran's of the opinion, he's creating this potential furor. So you can invite the Proud Boys to come to the game, invite ICE to attack our players.
Did you say furor?
Furor. So it's really ugly. FIFA in the early morning hours this morning responded to Iran, we're not changing the schedule. You're going to play the matches in the stadiums we assigned you to, according to the seedings. And if you don't want to play here, you forfeit the games and you lose. So this thing is at loggerheads right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of messy.
Just play the game.
Yeah. But your president makes a statement, I can't guarantee your safety. That's almost like he's inviting these people to create an incident. Just typical crap coming out of his
MAGA
mouth.
red bait.
Exactly. Formula One. It wouldn't be F1 if we did not have more controversy. 3rd week of the season. Now got a public feud between Team Mercedes and Red Bull. You know, the deep background for Formula One fan who watches this podcast is none of the drivers and none of the teams are happy with the new 2026 F1 car. Everybody's got problems with it. But Mercedes has dialed their cars in and they're dominant. Red Bull and Max Verstappen, which is all drama, are whining and crying and screaming and bitching. So finally, the Mercedes ownership just stood up this week and said, there's nothing wrong with this car. We've figured it out. There's no flaw in the car. Mercedes has figured it out. That's why we're at the top of the grid. What's wrong is Red Bull is flawed as a team. You guys haven't figured it out. Shut up and get back to work. No Mercedes telling Red Bull how to do their job. Kind of nasty. And of course, all this comes on the heel of their driver, Lando Norris, 2 weeks ago, telling Max Verstappen, you don't like racing in F1? Leave F1. It's like the whole world is mounting a charge against Red Bull.
Smack talk.
Oh, big time. But Max Verstappen just opens his mouth and just cries and whines nonstop. Bad drama. So, John, SDFC, all things Iran, FIFA, and your president and Formula One.
You know, I got to give SDFC credit here. I mean, when they beat Toluca here, I mean, that was a big win for the franchise.
This is with 2 red cards.
Yeah, and with the 2 red cards and everything else. But the other part of this Champions League is great because I learned more about the Mexican League. Because I always thought it was Stadium Azteca in Mexico City, but there are multiple soccer stadiums in Mexico City where Toluca plays is a different one.
All at altitude. Holy cow. Imagine playing at 8,000 feet.
Well, that's what I remember. Like when Team USA would play in Stadium Azteca, it was like going to the Thunderdome. It was like going to something on like, one of those Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man shows that it was just going to be wild. It was going to be fire and flames and the altitude. And yeah, it's hella hard. I mean, so good on SDFC they are just really showing up. Last year, this year, they're off to a good start. I'm happy for them.
But they did get torched. 4-0, outshot 23.
Yeah, but that's all right. It's all good. I mean, come on home, focus on, your MLS Cup. And then, I get the Iran doesn't want to play in America, but just follow the instructions of where the games are going to be. I mean, if you don't want to be in the tournament, then don't play in the tournament and bring someone else in. But I don't think you should be asking. I mean, they can ask because, maybe even, who knows, maybe the Iranian leadership is pushing the buttons to try to ask for special favors. I don't think FIFA should, acknowledge that.
That's what we are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's your turn to take over the podcast. Item 1, Fans Forum chat box is open. Item 2, this podcast is brought to you by Dixie Line Lumber and Home Centers. Lots of locations to serve you. Got projects. They've got materials. Go to the website, dixieline.com, to see all they have to offer, including the special tool section in all the Dixieline stores for your do-it-yourselfers. John, your segment, take over. These are your people.
My people. Well, I'll tell you one of my favorite people is right now is Music to My Ears, because he uses the super chat feature, gives us a few bucks, and we move him to the top of the list. Thank you for the contribution, because it really helps us a great deal.
It does. I mean, thanks for that. So anyways, his comment is the 2024 Forbes estimated the Padres worth of 1.8 to 1.95 billion. Sale could be above 3.1 billion. Politicians working to keep Padres in San Diego. Do new owners going to price out fans? Ownership was a hobby. Now it's a luxury. Think Bills fans. Well, at the end of the day, the asking price on this sale will be an offshoot of what the asking price was on the Orioles sale, or the asking price of other franchise sales. And baseball's at an all-time high in terms of revenue and TV ratings and total attendance. So this is going to be higher. You know, it started out, many people thought 2.5 billion. Now they're saying maybe 3 billion. But this is a hot baseball market. The second piece of your question is the one that's got all the validity to it. Have they priced themselves out of this market? Well, I don't know how many more dollars you can squeeze out of John Q. Fan at Petco Park, because the prices have gone up 57% in 5 years. And fans are still coming because the product is still good and they're in a pennant race and the Dodger rivalry and all that. But I think this thing is topped out, because this market has limitations as to how much money you can take out of it in terms of corporate sponsorship, as well as, you know, how much more the fans going to be able to pay, from ticket prices to food concessions to the team store to parking. So it's, to me, that's a big concern going forward, that this is as good as it's probably going to get, I think, in terms of a local revenue stream. That's my response. Well, people in town complain about San Diego State Aztec football tickets were too high, and they lowered them. Okay. But I don't really hear a lot of people complaining that much about the Padres prices. I mean, they show up, they sell out, and people are drinking and eating and having a good time. I mean, it's a lot of money. I mean, it's not like, you know, paying $5 to get upper deck seats like we did back in the day, but it's a great environment. So I mean, I look at this and I'm thinking to myself, I remember when the Clippers were sold to Steve Ballmer, and I was like blown away that he got $2 billion, because that exceeded what I think a lot of people thought the Clippers were valued at. So I think in this case, I think it's possible that they could be not around Forbes' prediction of around 1.8, but instead over 3. You know, the numbers have really changed in the last calendar year. So be it. But, you know, the other piece of the equation, how much more can you ask from the fans financially? Because it is significant. It is. I mean, it is significant, but you can ask the fan for more. You know, the fan will tell you when it's too much. They'll stop showing up. Exactly. And then that's that's what happened with the Aztec football. So you just got to, they're playing that, you know, it's like an economics game. Yeah. The Aztecs are different, though. And I'll never understand why San Diego State did not reach out and put its arms around all those Charger fans who were let go when Spanos moved the franchise, and all those people were out here, and they never marketed towards them. Well, they did. They said one city, one team. That doesn't mean anything. No, but that's what they were trying to sell it on. Yeah. And then everything went to hell when COVID broke, and they were playing up in Carson, and when the product didn't pan out either. And so they just lost all this momentum, and now the NIL is blowing everything up. I don't know. I think San Diego State has made good choices and just have had, out of their control, unfortunate timing. Well, they've made good choices in basketball. They've not made good choices in football in terms of the operation of the stadium, the pricing of the stadium, etc. Okay, we'll see where it goes from here. That's good input. Thank you for joining us. Okay, let's go here to Peck. Hey, Lee and John, the WBC had us hooked. Yeah. With the World Series and WPC, we had some exciting baseball. Let's hope MLB will be the same. They came across something and created something that's really special. And the same thing is happening simultaneously in the National Hockey League, and obviously with the NBA hasn't quite gotten there yet, but they've got something really electric. And now make this a week-long 10-day event and move it to the middle of the summer. Wrap it around the All-Star break. Because I guarantee all the pitchers who were hesitant to make themselves available in March because they're not ramped up, ready to go. They'll be ramped up because it'll be in the middle of the season. And, you put a push limit on these guys, but I swear to you, every ace starter or closer will want to be part of this. And I'll give you my 3 innings max in a start in the WBC. I just think it'd be phenomenal. Holy cow.
Well, you need like 10 days to do this, right?
Yeah, I'd say.
So that means you need an extra week, but you have the All-Star break, which actually isn't even a full week. It's only a part of a week. So then that question becomes, if you have to block out 2 weeks to do this tournament and the All-Star game and the home run derby and all that, does that mean you go back to 154 games?
I'd sure like to see it, but I don't know that ownership wants to give up the revenue stream from a
exactly
160.
So now are we going to start the season on March 20th? Are we going to wrap it up on October 15th?
Mm-hmm.
So, these are questions. Are we going to have double headers for one ticket price? I don't think we'll have that.
No, there are some mechanics that'll take time to negotiate through. But at the end of the day, you've got something that's red hot that the globe wants.
Yeah.
And this is about building the brand globally.
That's great.
So,
I just love all the energy, and I like the showmanship of the Latin culture and not just in the fans, but the way the boys play ball,
yep.
And we need more of that in Major League Baseball, in my opinion.
And you get better rosters because everybody will want to play now because it's the middle of the season.
Yeah. And it's got a worldwide audience, it's awesome. Just awesome.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Let's go to Carlos. Lee, I told you so. The Lakers need some time to get everyone healthy and gelling together. Give them credit. They're going to be a tough team to play in the playoffs, experience and grit.
Well, also some teams are really dinged up, and that's got something to do with it. But they've really come together. When they were facing this chunk of the schedule, I said, this is going to be the end of these guys. These guys are going to get buried. They're going to wind up being a play-in team again. And instead, they've gotten healthy. They've gotten hot. And they've convinced some of these guys, this is your role. Come contribute and just do this. And it's worked. They've won 7 in a row, 10 of their last 11. Real deal right now. And as long as there's no setbacks, they're going to be a force because now they got guys playing up to their max potential that weren't doing that the first half of the season.
I'm just impressed with JJ Redick. He's kind of cracked the code, because we've been trying to figure out how to make this roster work with LeBron, without LeBron, and he's maybe got the right rotation, the right roles for everybody. Good on Redick.
Yep, I concur. So we'll see where it goes. Got a couple more weeks, and then we get the postseason play. Thanks for joining us.
All right, let's go to Sports Fan. Hey, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, is it me, or does it look like Shohei Ohtani's arm is injured in the dugout after the coach pulled him out of the game yesterday?
Nobody's heard that. Nobody said that. The guy went 4 innings, gave up 1 hit, clocked at 99. There seemed to be nothing wrong with Ohtani. He's going to be in the rotation. Now, he may be limited as to how many innings he's going to throw in his first couple of starts. I could see if, 4 innings first start, 5 innings second start. They're not going to max him out right at the get-go, but I don't see any problems at all. I talked to a guy that was in Tokyo that actually watched his bullpen, a U.S. reporter, and he said it was just electric. He said the Japanese batters couldn't get bats on the ball, and he was just darting and dashing and throwing heat. So that's where we are.
You ever like in a bullpen session, it's pretty cool, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It's because my kid, when he was playing ball in high school, we would go to his pitching lessons, and the coach, a great coach here in town, Dom Johnson, he had pros there throwing. And it is electric, to see certain guys, if they've got the it factor and they're throwing heat, they have a lot of movement, and you're like, holy crap. And just to hear the pop in the catcher's glove, it's a special vibe.
And when you see some of these guys throw off the mound, you almost hear the ball go whoosh.
Yeah, like whistles.
Yeah, whistle sound. It's amazing.
Yeah, but I think Ohtani is fine. I haven't heard this news about an injury.
Well, just have to see where it goes. But Dave Roberts said yesterday that obviously it will be a slow go period when he gets the ball to start. He'll be in the rotation the first week of the season, but it won't be 7 or 8 innings. It'll be maybe 4 innings, and they'll try to build pitch count there.
Yeah. And we still don't really know when Blake Snell's coming back, right?
No, he has not thrown batting practice yet. So I think we're talking May 15th or June 1st.
Yeah, he's getting notes from Kawhi Leonard. Okay, let's go here to the next one to Casey. Good afternoon, guys. Hacksaw John. I have Florida, UConn, Purdue, and Michigan in my Final Four, and have Florida beating Michigan in the championship game. What do you guys think?
Listen, I'll just give your phone number to friends in Tucson that I have, and they'll respond. You don't have Arizona? You kidding me? Arizona's pretty doggone good too. So I think any of those top six, any of those top six, top five, you don't have Houston in there either. I mean, there's some pretty good teams. I just tend to think, though, that Michigan's so deep and Arizona's so deep that they're a little bit different than the rest of those teams.
Yeah, I just, my measuring stick is the Aztecs played Michigan and Arizona, and that was like,
how'd that work out?
David and Goliath. I mean, the Arizona and Michigan are just so big, so powerful, so athletic. I mean, for me, I had, I have Arizona over Duke in the final, but hell, Duke, I mean, it was crazy today. So, I mean, and also, by the way, you made a comment when we were talking about the March Madness in the earlier segment, and you were saying Florida won last year and we kind of forget about it. And I was thinking the same thing. My wife asked me, she goes, who won the tournament last year? I was like,
it was the Gators, but
I didn't remember.
They have six losses, I think, this season. It's been kind of a strange season.
Yeah. I don't know why I don't remember. Maybe because I keep remembering UConn winning all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I knew it wasn't UConn last year, but it was Florida. And yeah, they had that one kid, that guard, who was really good. He got drafted in the first round.
Yeah. They're good. But this is a great year. I mean, the talent level of the upper echelon teams is really, really special.
Okay. All right. Let's go here to Richard. Fans Forum question. The tournament always gives the bigger conferences priority. The little guy who won its conference gets buried and always gets an unreasonable first round seeding. Bias will always rule.
I concur. Like I said, new era, old era gone. End of the day, everything has changed. Landscape has changed with the transfer portal, NIL money. All the teams at the top all have a lot of money, and they just go buy the players they want. And so I don't think we're going to see 16s ever beat ones again. I don't think we'll see the little guy. I don't think we'll ever see Farley Dickinson or George Mason or VCU or San Diego State. I just don't see them back in the Final Four if these rules continue to operate the way they're going to operate. Not to say we won't see great games, because these are really great teams. But the little guy, I don't think has much of a chance of being able to hold up and compete now.
It was interesting in Dutcher's presser yesterday where he talked, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Day before. And he talked about how there really are only 4 at-large spots for mid-majors, right? Because after you give out all the conference winners and all of your big boys get all their invites, it only leaves 4. So he said last year there were 3 Mountain West and one other team. And this year, the
Atlantic 10's got 3 this year.
Oh, no, the West Coast Conference does.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and Santa Clara.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put it like that, where you've got all the mid-majors that are basically, if you don't win the conference, you got all of them battling for 4 spots. So the whole thing is just getting more and more rigged. That's why I think they open up the tournament, make it 72 games, 96 games, and then you get everybody in. Okay. And you just play the games, man. I mean, that's what we love this tournament. Why not?
Okay.
I mean, otherwise you're going to have this kind of bias or do you think there's still going to be bias and they'll be putting in like 12th place teams out of the Big Ten?
And we're going to start getting 500 teams in.
Oh yeah. But they should open it up more.
Yeah. I watched Miami of Ohio outgun SMU, and here's a SMU big conference. They're an 11th place team in the ACC.
Yeah,
and they took the place of a mid-major who might have done better.
Right. I mean, the Aztecs could have beat SMU.
How about New Mexico scored 107 points in the first game in the NIT?
Yeah, hell, good for them. So, that's a good team.
Exactly, but they're not playing in March Madness, are they?
No, because this is what Richard's saying. It's right. It's big boy, little boy.
Yeah, it's changed. Like I said, I don't think we're going to ever see it again the way it used to be, which gave us kind of unique storylines and excitement there. Thank you for the input.
Okay, here's some more comments. This is from Don. Siena was leading Duke. I saw that Duke, by the way, won it in the end. High Point won. Who knows?
Anything's possible. It's the way you play the day you play. But in the overall big picture, these guys have way too much talent for the Sienas and the High Points of the world.
Now, has High Point always been a Division I program?
No, it elevated itself and moved up. They're in North Carolina.
Yeah, because I remember I was talking to my buddy, and we were talking about High Point, and we're like, what the hell is High Point? Is it even a Division I program? And we're like, where is it? And I said, you know what? Isn't High Point like a city where they do all the furniture in North Carolina, where they make that furniture? So I guess North Carolina, and I was right, I mean, so I've learned a little bit more about geography and about schools thanks to the tournament.
You shouldn't have cut class. I kept telling you that, dummy.
Okay, let's go to Callan. Hey, afternoon, gents. Saw what a letdown for SDFC last night. Toluca is a hell of a club. We move on to Sunday against Real Salt Lake. Also, any thoughts on the 2027 MLS schedule changes?
Well, they're doing, I think they're calling it the sprint schedule, which will be, they're changing the schedule to match what the way the schedules fall in Europe, so that MLS teams will have access to be able to have transfer portal acquisitions. That's what it's behind all this. So they're going with the sprint schedule. It doesn't matter to me if you play the bulk of the schedule at one time of the calendar, then you take a 2-month break and you play the rest of the schedule. So it'll work out. The fact that they're going to give MLS teams a window in which they can actually go get guys in the transfer portal from European teams, and the schedules link up. So that'll be intriguing to see how it works. So the next year, MLS, it's going to be very, very different. So it's fine.
Yeah, I like that they're trying new things here with the schedule. And yeah, SDFC, I mean, yeah, it was a little bit of a rough loss, but that's a tough place to win.
Yeah.
You like to see them. They've already advanced one level. I mean, it's nothing but upside with this team.
Yeah. Speaking of soccer, here's the coolest story to keep an eye on abroad. We've talked about Wrexham, which was the small soccer club in Wales.
Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yes, Ryan Reynolds, the Hollywood actor, owns it. They've been promoted 3 years in a row at different levels in England. And they right now are in the Championship League, which is the second tier down. And they're going to be in the playoff. They're finishing if 4th, 5th, or 6th in the standings. The top 6 in the Championship League go to a tournament and play. And the survivors, the top 3 that survive that tournament, get elevated. Nobody in the history of English soccer has ever been promoted 4 years in a row. And Wrexham from Wales is knocking out that door. They've been promoted 3 times already from lower divisions to now to the Championship League. And the next step, if they survive this tournament, next stop, they go to the EPL. Can you believe that?
You got to make a movie about that. And you already got a Hollywood star that's the owner of the team. That's a great story.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's something to pay attention to on the out-of-town scoreboard.
Okay, let's go here to Michael. And he goes, hey, how many people called out sick to watch March Madness?
Unbelievable. Man, it's such an event, especially the first 4 days. We haven't talked about what's going to happen at Viejas Arena here. Friday is unbelievable. You got St. John's here, and Arizona's here. Who else is here?
Utah State.
Utah State's here. There's 4.
Kansas.
Kansas, yeah.
Yeah.
You got 4 really good teams at Viejas Arena. All be playing tomorrow in their first round of the San Diego Regional. So that's going to be really good basketball too.
I remember there was a time when they would play on the court and it was branded for the home team, and then they stopped doing it. Now it's all NCAA.
Well, it's all corporate advertising.
Yeah. And so I always like to see like the host team name or the city, like on the court itself. We don't really get that anymore.
No, it's the NCAA hardwood.
Yeah. And by the way, I have a buddy of mine that to this day, he always takes today and tomorrow off of work. For him, this is a vacation day.
Basketball flu.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And a little bit easier with people working from home too. Okay. Let's go to retro. Lakers went from danger of falling to the play-in to a comfortable spot in the playoffs. Don't blow this, Bron.
So far, so good. JJ Redick sales pitch LeBron. I have a different set of responsibilities I want you to take once you get healthy. And then he met with DeAndre Ayton and said, this is what I want you to do. So far, so good. We'll just see if it continues. But they've won 7 in a row, 10 of the last 11. They're beating all these upper echelon teams right now. So, not being part of the play-in is going to be helpful. Staying healthy is equally going to be helpful. So, and Luka is just having an unbelievable statistical season in terms of shooting. And there's no argument now who the offense runs through and what he does, but he's become such an explosive player. He's making everybody else around him dangerous too, because he's getting the ball to him too. He's not a ball hog. You watch how he whistles passes now once he makes penetration. It's amazing.
Right on. I mean, this is good that they've kind of figured out.
We think.
So how many weeks left in the season? Like 3 or 4?
2 or 3.
2 to 3. Yeah. Okay. Playoffs coming, man. That's when there's real NBA basketball.
Yes.
Okay. Let's keep on trucking. More basketball talk from Bat Fan. Hey, does the WNBA draft international players? The NBA has benefited greatly from the international talent pool.
That's a really good question. I don't know if they draft them or if they view them as free agents. I mean, they come, they play. There's not been as many. Maybe women's basketball in Europe is not as dominant as it is here. But they have a lot of business to get done because they have to do the college draft, and that's going to be followed immediately by a small window of free agency. It's like 80% of the players are free agents in WNBA. So next week, there's going to be a lot of player movement, and obviously camps will be opening, and they start the season on May 8th. So they get this thing done. Their backs are kind of the wall in terms of the business of basketball that they got to accomplish as they try to put these teams together. And they have to hold an expansion draft, too, because they're stocking a team in Portland and a team in Toronto. So a lot of stuff going to be in the news about the WNBA. I think if whatever they're getting from Europe, I think is probably because of veteran free agents, not a draft per se.
Interesting. Well, I know basketball for women is pretty far along in Asia, right? Mm-hmm. Like in China and other nations. But I don't really think of women's basketball being as developed as men's basketball when it comes to international. No. I don't know if I'm right or wrong on that. That's my instinct. Because usually in these tournaments, Team USA on the women's side is just an overwhelming favorite, more so than the men are favorites. So, but if they can open up markets and you bring people over here from Slovenia, like Luka, you got some ladies from Slovenia. That's where Melania Trump is from. Think she could post up?
Why did you have to bring politics back into this conversation?
We're talking about, well, she's tall too. Anyways, bring them on. I think if you make this sport more international, that only has upside for the WNBA.
The WNBA players over the years would spend their off season because they were not being paid great amount of money in here. They would spend their off season. They would go to Europe. They would go play in Russia in the off season.
Brittany Griner.
Exactly.
She was in Russia. Yeah.
So, but I don't think there's many Euros talent-wise that could play at this level at this point in time. But keep tabs. WNBA is going to be in the news a lot in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah,
okay,
good on them.
Move on.
Okay, we'll go to Teamer. Hey, for the Angels front office, thinking Mike Maddox is going to try and fix all the pitching problems that they have just tells you how stupid the Angels front office is.
Well, Maddox has a good track record of working with pitchers, especially pitchers who have come back from surgery. I just don't think they have enough pitching. I don't think they got the right pitching in the offseason. I've joked about they went shopping at Dollar General and look at what they got. And now they got guys with ERAs of 9 and 12 and 13 and trying to sell me that's going to be part of your rotation or part of your key bullpen guys. I just don't know. Maddox, though, has a good reputation of working with young pitchers and they do have a lot of young pitchers. And has a reputation, obviously, of helping guys who've come back from surgery. So I'm not going to denounce Mike Maddox, but I'm kind of like you. I don't understand this whole blueprint game plan. When you had significant amount of money below last year's budget, you could have tried to go get better pitching. And instead, they got Grayson Rodriguez coming off injury and Manoah, who's had injuries and just isn't the same guy. And those are two guys you're counting on for opening week of the season to be cornerstones of their rotation. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
Yeah, Artie Moreno is high on Mike Maddox.
Yes.
Yeah, he thinks he's going to be a difference maker for the franchise. I don't know. I mean, I just not sure what to ever think of the Angels. It just, Yeah, I just don't really understand the strategy.
I don't like the ragtag roster. I mean, I study that stuff all the time. I said, and these guys, if these guys had had good springs, maybe I'd feel different. But they have not had good springs, and here we are, a week out from the start of the season, and we're talking about guys with ERAs of 11, 12, and 13, and that's going to be part of your pitching staff? Wow.
Yeah, and then Pomeranz, 13.5 out of the bullpen. Ooh. I saw a video clip of Mike Maddox in the, working in the bullpen sessions, at spring training, and he's like riffing with a lot of his pitchers. Hey, man, what do you think of this? All good stuff. But he referred to one of his pitchers as Ferris Bueller, like, hey, Ferris Bueller, blah, blah, blah. And I thought to myself, man, his brother, Greg Maddox, looks like Ferris Bueller. You ever thought of that? So anyways, both those Maddox brothers those guys are amazing for baseball.
Keep an eye, if you're an Angel fan, keep an eye on this kid, Ryan Johnson. They threw him out there last year. He had never pitched an organized ball, and he wasn't ready, and he got lit. But he's had a good spring. Keep an eye on Bremner, the kid out of Cal Santa Barbara, last year's #1 pick.
Yeah, that's the one.
Now, they have not pitched him a lot in spring training because they're trying to develop his repertoire. He's probably going to start at AA. Maybe, I don't know if he's ready for AAA, but we'll see how fast he advances. But that's a hot commodity guy. But they need more of those type young kids.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I #1 overall, the Angels have. So, I mean, hey, bring him on. If he has, give him an opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's go to John. Hey, the World Baseball Classic was an incredible way to pique interest in the upcoming baseball season. That MLB will look at doing this during the All-Star break has a lot of promise. However, how will this impact the current All-Star game?
Well, how long is the break going to be for the All-Star festivities? How many teams representing the WBC? I think the number of teams need to be streamlined. We don't need, what do we have, 12?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we don't need 12. Find a way to choreograph it differently. But the fact, John, that it's midsummer and everybody is in full game pennant race mode, I think every pitcher, now that he's seen what this event has become, will want to throw for my country. So have a 15-man pitching staff, and you just put an innings limit on how much each starter can go. But if you got a 15-man staff for that whole week, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
You protect the arms, but the guys will go out and give you max effort for 3 innings because it's midseason and they can do 3 innings.
Well, if it were up to me, I would do the All-Star break. I would have a 2-week All-Star break every year. This is how I would do it. And then I would have the WBC replace the All-Star game on every 4th year. And so the 3 years in between would be a normal All-Star game. Okay. Then every 4th year would be a WBC tournament. I would keep it to nation specific. So Venezuela can be Venezuela. They don't have to be part of the DR and part of Puerto Rico and kind of figuring out these weird configurations. The beauty of this is if you have individual nations that can represent. That's what made Italy so special in this tournament. And I would still have the home run derby because all your big guys are going to be there, and they don't necessarily need to be guys on the WBC team. And by the way, even on the WBC years, you would still have to have an all-star roster because a lot of guys get bonused on that, but it wouldn't necessarily be a game.
So you wouldn't play the game on the all-star roster?
Once every 4 years, I would not.
Should we jack the WBC up and make it an every other year event? I mean, it's so...
but it's like the World Cup is every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think every 4 years is right.
Okay.
But what do you think? Do you think Olympic baseball, assuming the pros play, will be a bigger deal than the WBC? I'm not sure.
I don't know. We just came through something really, really special. And they are negotiating. The Players Association has had conversations about what Olympic baseball should look like. But again, that's in the middle of your baseball pennant race. That impacts your season. You're going to shut down baseball completely for 2 weeks for the Olympics?
Oh, so now here you go. Now maybe you do the Olympics 1 year, the WBC another year, and then the other 2 years you have a regular all-star game, and you still take the 2-week break. I don't know. I mean, I think there's ways they can figure out a way to make it work.
Okay. John, thanks for being with us.
Okay, let's keep on going. We're going to social media. Got a bunch of guys to get involved here. Hey, let's talk some soccer. This is with MLS Soccer 96. Hey, I say Team USA will make the quarterfinals in the World Cup.
Get to the group of 16. I think this is from top to bottom on the roster, and they just released the 26-man roster now for the next series of friendlies, and all the young guys are there. So they start with Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie, and then they work their way all the way down to the young kids that they force-fed in the past friendlies. I think this is the best collection of firepower goal scorers they've had in a long, long time. I'm going to be intrigued to see. I think they play Belgium and Portugal in March, at the end of March, in the last group of friendlies, and then obviously they get ready for the World Cup. But they seem to have an awful lot of firepower, and they seem to be pleased with how they've developed a cross-section of athletes.
We have a lot of optimism right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where roll the clock back, what was it, 9 months ago or so? We had a lot of pessimism.
Well, we didn't know, and then all the veteran players of yesteryear kind of ripped Mauricio Pochettino about what are you doing, why you're doing it this way, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, they did a U-turn in the middle of the road, and the Landon Donovans of the world are actually praising the blueprint that Pochettino adopted to how he went through to find more young players. But to me, they got a lot of goal scoring, and they've not had that in years gone by.
Yeah, right on. Yeah. I mean, the whole idea of America was always like the little guy in this tournament.
Yep.
And it would just be nice. You know, they need to necessarily be a favorite like Brazil every year, but if America can be competitive every year, right on.
They get to the group of 16. That's an accomplishment. If they won inside the group of 16, wow.
They did that one year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the 1 year they beat Mexico, I think, in the round of 16 and then went on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is the ultimate tournament. I mean, that's WBC on triple steroids.
The other thing is there's 48 teams now in the World Cup.
Yeah, good.
So
we'll expand the tournament, man. I love that.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be electric because it's going to be here. It's going to be in our time zones.
Yeah, I got to get because just another kind of a tangent. Did you see for the Olympics? There's going to be a bunch of soccer games in San Diego.
Yes. Oh yeah, they play 11 games at Snapdragon.
Yeah, including the bronze medal match.
Yep.
So that's going to be pretty big.
And the men's and women's semifinals.
Okay. Oh, the semifinal and the bronze medal match.
Yes.
That's legit.
Soccer City.
So I guess they're probably going to have the finals in the Rose Bowl, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Or at SoFi, I believe.
One or the other.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
But how cool is that? What does it say about what San Diego is on the soccer map now?
You know, it used to be that in the Olympics, there would be like some equestrian events that kind of would find their way down near Del Mar, you know, but it's nice to be, soccer, bring it on.
I went to the Olympics when it was in LA in '84. I was working over in Phoenix, and I came over here for 2 days. I saw a lot of track and field at the LA Coliseum. It was really cool. It's just a once in a lifetime event.
Yeah. Bucket list opportunity.
Yeah. Good deal.
Okay. Let's keep on going. Talk Angel baseball. This is with Dave Wright. Whoever said that Grayson Rodriguez and Alek Manoah were expected to be nails? At best, they were huge question marks due to both injury and ineffectiveness. You're being dramatic, Hacksaw.
I don't think I ever said nails.
Yes, you did.
When?
In one of your commentary videos.
I think that's
you asked the question, can they be nails?
Oh, okay. That's different than saying they nailed it.
Right.
Can they be what they were? Grayson Rodriguez' first year and a half was really good, and then he got hurt and hasn't been the same since. Manoah had one good year in Toronto and then got hurt, and he can't throw strikes. So, and they got him because of cost factor. They didn't cost very much. They got him for virtually nothing. I mean, granted the Angels traded away Taylor Ward that hit 38 home runs, but he only hit 220. He's not done anything in Baltimore since he got there. So they took a flyer, and they've taken a lot of flyers. I think that's the biggest beef, is you had all this money coming off your salary that was available to go back into the marketplace to get guys, and instead you bought on the come with the hope that, hey, maybe we hit a jackpot on Grayson Rodriguez. Well, he's not back. And Manoah seems so far away from the pitcher he first was in Toronto. And you were almost guaranteeing the fans that these guys are going to be starters 3 and 4 in the rotation. And if they could be what they were going to be good. Well, neither one of them is what they were. Now you got a problem.
Yeah. I mean, is Reed Detmer still on the team?
Yes.
Okay.
But he's He's not been dominant. He's going to be the third starter. Soriano is going to be the ace. Reed Detmers is going to be the third guy, at least. But he's been found wanting as a starter. They put him in the bullpen. Now they've elected to bring him back, and he's a more mature pitcher now. At one point, I thought he had all the number one qualities you want, and then it got away from him.
Well, they got those young kids. I mean, having a good spring, and that guy from Santa Barbara.
Well, I don't know if Bremner's ready. I mean, he's hardly pitched at all. So we'll see where this goes. Yeah, Bremner and Johnson are the two names he might be part of this future sooner than later. But
there's one guy with a really long name.
Well, Kochanowicz.
Yeah.
And he's got to go in the rotation now because he's had a good spring, but he was found really wanting last year, and they force-fed him, and he got lit, but he's got a 1.98 ERA this year, so I think he goes into the rotation.
Cool. I have a couple of finds then.
So far, so good. We'll see.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Chargers talk with Carlos Who Music. Hey, Zion Johnson was average during his years in LA, up and down, inconsistent. He's not worth his new contract enough to justify his huge money deal. He's not a proven star yet. The quote, Spanos is cheap, unquote, is the lazy man's answer. We spent a ton of money with top front office and coaching, new facilities, lots of extensions. It's too early to write off Ortiz off. Check back with us in September, Hacksaw.
I'm not giving up the ghost on Ortiz because his draft classes have been really good. But at the end of the day, when you got $90 million in cap space, spend it. Now, I agree with you. I mean, the Washington Commanders gave Oweh $25 million a year. I'd have a tough time signing off on that type of contract. He gave the Chargers a half of a really great season. Now, did he have a great year by himself, or did he have a great year because Tuia Polutu and Khalil Mack are part of the linebacking core too? Got to weigh that into the equation. Zion Johnson signed in Cleveland, I think, for 16. That's kind of pricey, but you got the money. And I'd much rather have 3 number 1 draft picks rather than 2 number 1 draft picks in my offensive front, and then you go patch the rest of it. But I just don't think they're a better team now. They've lost too many guys that I thought were kind of impactful players, and there were a bunch of role players at defensive tackle. They lost 3 defensive tackles, and they lost Oweh. And I don't think the offensive front now is equal to what the offensive front was before. Center is a little bit better, but you got black holes at guard. So I just don't understand the philosophy of buying on the cheap when you had $90 million cap space. I do know that they did have to re-sign a whole bunch of their guys, and they have for the most part. But to me, it's just not the same team.
I always wonder if Dean Spanos really wants to win. You know, I mean, he wants to make money. He's selling out the games, right? I mean, the fans show up. A lot of visiting fans show up for the Chargers. But I wonder if he just wants to have a productive business asset, or does he want to be a winner? I mean, Kroenke clearly wants to be a champion because he's done it in so many different sports. But Spanos is never. Is he cheap, or does he just want to be kind of middle? You know, does he really want to win?
I don't know if he knows how to win, but they won. They won, and then they got rid of all the people that helped them win. I mean, they won with Beathard and Ross, and they fired them.
That's what I'm saying.
They won with AJ and Schottenheimer, and they fired both those guys.
Exactly. So, I mean, who fires a coach that goes 14-2? You know, I mean, it was the number 1 seed in the playoffs. There's just so many weird decisions this franchise makes. I don't get it.
And in the big history of things, I think they've owned the franchise now 38 years or 39 years. They've had 18 winning seasons in 39 years. So there's not a lot of consistency there, is there?
No. You know, it's just they had their ticket guarantee in San Diego. You know, they're up at SoFi and all the visiting fans show up. No problem. Your money is green as the next guy.
Yeah.
It just seems weak, you know, and even like LA sports fans, they like to mock the Chargers. They just don't take them seriously.
Yeah. Well, they're on the clock. I mean, Justin Herbert's had 5 injuries. I think he's a hell of a competitor, and they've not been able to put the right people around him. You know, the ghastly number that I dug up, he's been sacked 105 times in the last 2 years. He's 1 hit away from something really bad happening. He's tough. He's played through all these injuries. He's a tough guy. one of these times he's not going to get up. He got plastered so bad in that final playoff game. I couldn't believe he didn't suffer some type of catastrophic injury. He took such a pounding, and they haven't fixed the offensive front. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they could have signed a lot of guys, and they just didn't.
Yep.
So I guess they're hoping for a big draft.
Well, Ortiz has had 2 good drafts in a row, so I'm sure we'll see. But they're drafting down the board. They're drafting 22 and 49, I think, early on. Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's go here. Dodger talk with Bent Wookie. Hey, talking about Kyle Tucker, you were giving him a hard time because he wasn't hitting in spring training. Tucker had 1 hit in his previous spring training with the Cubs. Nothing to worry or overreact to. No, Hacksaw. The mystery guy isn't Landon Knack. It's River Ryan and how he bounces back from Tommy John as a starter. Early results are promising.
Well, Ryan, I thought it had a really good spring, but this morning they just sent him back to Oklahoma City. They're good, and that's just to monitor pitch counts and just work on his repertoire. He's had no setbacks, but they're just not. They don't think that he's ready to be a starter every 5th day at this point in his career. So he's back. Knack has just not pitched back to where he was 2 years ago. He's still on the roster. We'll see if he survives. When they cut to 26, whether they keep him as a super utility part-time starter or long reliever, whatever. But they're deep. I mean, their big 3 is really, really good right now. And we'll see what the time window obviously is on Blake Snell.
Yeah, Tucker's going to be fine. He'll be all right.
Well, he's surrounded by really good players.
Yeah.
I think the unique thing is in Chicago, I don't know if they misplayed him in terms of his role. Like they felt like he had to be the flag carrier. He had to be the leader. And that's not his persona at all. He wants to just be a guy on the roster who has good baseball seasons. And so now he's surrounded by the guys who draw all the spotlight, obviously, and Freddie Freeman and Mookie.
Well, I remember when he was on the Astros and they had Bregman and Altuve and the guys that everyone kind of knows. And all of a sudden, this Kyle Tucker guy sort of rise through the ranks and suddenly he was playing right field. And he's right in the heart of the batting order. And you're like, who's this guy?
Yep.
So to your point, he was a complimentary power guy, a complimentary great athlete.
Good player.
Good player.
But he didn't want the burden of being the flag carrier.
Yeah, exactly. So, this will probably all work out for the Dodgers. Don't worry about it.
We'll be talking about it.
Okay. Comments about Laker and Luka. And this is from Ball 7906. Hey, Lee, stop reporting on LA teams until you watch LA teams games or follow LA media. LA is not San Diego. The Lakers have stated, and it is patently obvious, this is Luka's team. Management has stated since last summer they will build a team around Luka. LeBron is 41 and his contract expires at the end of the year.
No argument there. They just have to make sure everybody else is in the supporting cast, because Luka, when he's had to do it by himself, he'll have nights where he goes 3 for 18. You say, what? How's that possible? But right now, they're hot. Right now, they're playing really well together. And by the way, I do follow Laker teams, and I talk to people up there all the time, and I watch a lot, and I do know basketball. Right now, they're hitting on all cylinders, and we have not seen this type of consistency in a group of years. So we'll see if this can continue, and obviously who's healthy and who's not healthy. Denver is a shell of itself right now. They got so many guys dinged up, and OKC now has SGA back, but there's been some injury factors there. And, San Antonio, Wemby has been in and out of the lineup, but if he's totally healthy, that's a pretty dangerous team with him and Stephon Castle, et cetera. So Western Conference playoffs, they're going to be fun to watch. But right now, Lakers are hitting on all cylinders, and we haven't seen that in a long period of time.
Just the more San Diego LA rivalry here. I mean, that's what that is.
We're talking Southern California.
Yeah, but it's also, Laker fans are very loyal to their team.
That's okay.
And so when you kind of criticize them or quote, tell it like it is, sometimes Laker fan doesn't want to hear it.
Don't be offended.
But we've been talking about this, is it LeBron's team? Is it Luka's team? Can they kiss and get along? But it looks like, hey, Redick's kind of figured out the secret sauce.
So far, we'll see. We'll start playing real people again when you get postseason and you get in these best-of-5 series, and maybe it's a little bit different.
Okay.
Good deal.
Okay, let's go here, talk the NFL draft with Scorpio Francis. hey, there are quarterbacks that dominate the college, become high drafts, and become busts. There are third rounders and beyond that dominate in the NFL. I don't think I'm ever drafting a quarterback inside the top 15. It seems too risky when you lock yourself into him and fork out $100 million just because he was a first rounder. I think needing to find your quote franchise quarterback unquote is getting a lot of teams in trouble. Raiders should trade out of number one.
Historically, that has been a problem. And prior to the last CBA, the cost of number one quarterbacks was just outrageous. And then they put the slot system in, which has made it more cost effective. But if you make a mistake on a number one, your prime example is the New York Jets. When you make as many mistakes as they've made on number one quarterbacks over the last 10 years, it just kills your franchise, because that's where the money's going to, and that's the trigger man supposed to make your team. So you obviously have every opportunity to scout them. You have all the video on them. You meet with them. You've seen their pro day. You talk to their coaches. You should have a better handle as to whether he's a student to the game or whether his name is Ryan Leaf. And that historically, and him and Jamarcus Russell may be historically the two worst quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League. But you just can't make a mistake. But there is no perfect solution. Some guys take time. Look how long it's taken Sam Darnold. 5 years, 5 clubs, has become a pretty good quarterback. There's not a lot of Peyton Mannings walking down this hallway that are instant guys. There are a lot of Elways, and that's a long time ago. So you just got to do the research and not make the mistake, rather than be forced by public pressures. I desperately need a quarterback. I'm taking this guy because this was the hot guy. You got to make sure that he's the right guy.
Yeah, I agree. And I think in this particular case, I agree with Scorpio. Raiders should trade back. I mean, if you've got like an obvious can't miss guy, like an Elway or a Peyton Manning, okay, you take that guy if you got the number one overall pick. But if like Fernando Mendoza is good, but is he great? And you got so many other holes on that roster. I know they had a great offseason with free agents, but they've still got holes. I don't know. I mean, you could slot Kirk Cousins in there for a year or two and then draft the top QB next year.
Everybody's going to want to draft the top QB next year.
Well, there's a bunch of them available. And so there'll be trade opportunities to reposition yourself. Maybe this isn't the year to go for Fernando Mendoza.
That's why you do the homework on Mendoza. Did he throw for 4,500 yards? No. But he threw for 41 touchdowns, and he threw touchdowns when he had to win against the best teams they were playing on the schedule.
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, it's different to throw 5 touchdowns against Northwestern as compared to unbeaten Ohio State and their great defense. And Ohio State's defense is going to be all over the first round of that draft, and he beat them twice.
Well, the way that Penn State game finished up, where he threw the touchdown pass at the very end and the receiver barely got his foot in, so you can definitely say that he's a winner.
Yep.
So I wonder if he's going to be a winner like a Joe Montana, where he's not necessarily Adonis. He's not Michelangelo's David, but he's smart. He knows how to win, and he can get you to the promised land.
It'll be interesting. And John, for the first time in his life, John's got a valid contribution to this podcast. John says, Raiders could trade out if they could get Kirk Cousins on a rental for 2 years, trade back,
yes,
and then make a run on more of those offensive linemen and those Ohio State players. I kind of buy that.
Yeah.
But
it's Raider Nation though, so you never know what they're going to do.
So, all right, listen, we hope you have enjoyed this podcast. Boy, we've covered an awful lot of territory. We're here Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Tell your friends who we are and what we are doing. Want you to share, subscribe. When you subscribe on the YouTube channel, you get the alerts every time we put up the additional videos up there. Want you to check my website out. I write sports every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Just go to leehacksawhamilton.com. You can read the best 15 minutes in sports every day and my one man's opinion column. Also, want you to become part of Hacksaw's Insiders Group. There's an orange box right on the homepage. Fill it out. You get invited to get on the email list. John and I send out 2 emails a day pertaining to the world of sports. We think you'll really enjoy that. And you can help us grow this thing a lot. Find that box that says thumbs up. Find the box that says follow. And obviously on Apple, hit the 5-star rating evaluation. helps us grow this thing a great deal. And we're at 10,000 subscribers right now in the 4th year. And that's pretty cool. So we thank you for being part of our team. Podcast brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you need to go to Dixieline.com to see all the things they have to offer. You think enough hours a day to watch every game that's on TV?
No, but it's going to be great. March Madness is just the greatest time, especially Thursday, Friday games. And then hopefully some of those underdogs, maybe one of them can squeak through into the Sweet 16.
Yeah. And by the way, if you've never seen me on TV, Hacksaw's on TV every Saturday morning, 6:30 on KUSI. They give me a double segment to do sports and sports commentary. So Saturday morning, 6:30, KUSI, and I'll be back here on Monday at 1:30. John, have yourself a great sports weekend. You have a great sports weekend, too. Thanks for being part of Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast apps. For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.